Are you ready?
Yeah, bro.
Let's rip in. All right, welcome to our brand new podcast, Brewed For Greatness. I'm here with one of my best mates, Kurt Hindmarsh.
How are you, sir?
Good, thank you. First time doing this, impulsive decision a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Literally got a messenger video call. Wait, bruh, what do you reckon about starting a podcast? All right, let's do it. And probably a bit of inspiration there from seeing the boys on the backside potty
100%,
doing it.
100%.
So a little shout out to the backside boys. Love your stuff. Elliot, he's not learning, mate. He's got his phone on loud.
Rule one of podcasting: turn your phone off.
What a rookie.
So pretty much the whole thing about why we decided to do this is we feel like the name of the podcast, Brewed For Greatness. Pretty much, there's so many good athletes getting around now. The goal of this isn't to say that we're brewed for greatness, but it's pretty much just getting out all different athlete stories, having a chat, bringing up past memories, and just reliving it, as there's a lot of really good athletes these days that have, unfortunately, people forget about how good people were. So getting them on, if they're friends or not friends, and just talking about their history and everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are obviously really successful in what they do, reach the highest level. And you don't really know their story about, how they actually ended up being in the position they're in. 100%. Because a lot of the time things aren't given, and there's a lot more of a difficult road to where they ended up than people realise.
Yeah.
And especially in Australia, it's pretty hard, cracking that professional industry in whatever you're doing. It's financial and whatnot. It's probably not great for a long, long time. So there's a lot of people struggling for a long time, and I guess we're both just interested in finding out how people, ended up great at what they're doing.
Exactly,
hence the name Brewed For Greatness.
Yeah.
What it took for them to get where they are.
100%. Also, to keep in mind, we also don't mind to think that we're not too bad either.
Mate, I'm the biggest hack going around.
So for those that don't know us, Kurt himself, very, very good triathlon coach, also a very good athlete himself. He won't tell it, but back when he was training completely for cycling, he definitely was one of the Muzz Kings.
I don't know about that. I was hanging on for dear life, well out of my depth, well and truly. I just like hurting myself, to be completely honest, and I love endurance sport. Meanwhile, I've got probably one of the best cyclists, Queensland and Australia, sitting next to me, so I feel well and truly out of my depth. Can't really ride him for Bridge Lane.
That's good.
But yeah, also going really well on the coaching side of things.
No, it's good.
Business is kicking off, and got some juniors absolutely flying at the moment, mate.
We do. Pretty lucky to have a very, very good group that I'm looking after at the moment. So I think it's important, like we've said so many times, like you can do something else as well. Like you just don't have to train all the time.
Yeah.
So many hours in the day. If you need to have something second to do, it's definitely possible. So it's good starting that coaching business a few years ago and having the opportunity to help people along the way. It's really good, which you're doing now as well.
Yeah,
but I think also, just for people who don't know us, like this whole thing came about is because we would just go riding for hours together and just chat absolute crap, and we'll just I feel like people want to listen, and if you don't, it's fine. But once the nerves go, we get a bit calm, because we don't even normally talk like this. It'll be good. So pretty much where we're at today, Mooloolaba. It's an absolute insanely beautiful place, and
cracking weekend.
Yeah, 100%.
Weather gods turned it on. As you can see, probably behind us. And last night, Elliot was actually carrying on like a little kid, like he'd never seen a whale in his life. We were sitting here having a pizza and a beer, and Elliot starts screaming. You wouldn't believe it. There's a whale out there. Yeah, mate, they're out there all the time. Settle down, buddy. So, no, it's been a great weekend. And we're up here because Sunny Coast 70.3 was on.
Yep.
So
some family and friends racing.
Yeah, yep. You had some family racing.
Had my sister and her boyfriend racing, which was awesome to see. Me and my partner Steph traveled from Melbourne to come and watch them race specifically. Unfortunately, super proud of my sister, but she had the flu this week. So as all athletes know, to train when you're sick and race when you're sick is one thing.
For your first 70.3.
Yeah, 100%. But getting out there in 30 degrees to do a half Ironman when you're definitely sickers. It's just maybe it's time to have a crack another day. But she got out there, she had a crack. Her body said no, but obviously she wanted to do it. But luckily Ryan, her boyfriend, killed it in the heat.
He's natural, dude. Absolutely natural. Love that. He's anything he does, he seems to do all right. When he's riding a bike, he's riding a bike well.
100%.
He can run. Questionable swimming, maybe. There's a bit of backstroke today.
Bit of backstroke. He did say that. He also did tell me that. So initially, my sister is a naturally better swimmer than her, and better than him. Sorry, and he was beating her. Then she passed him, and then all of a sudden he passed her again, and then she never saw him again. But after the race, we end up finding out Molly has beaten him out of the water, and we asked him what happened. Turns out he was, because the boys in the water were orange, he was chasing after the lifeboats. So he was looking up, seeing like the floating orange and going towards the lifeboats. And then eventually he got to one and they were like, mate, you're going the wrong way. So he's nearly done an Ironman in the water. Unfortunately,
it was hard conditions out there actually today. It would have been hard sighting. They were having some difficulties keeping the boys in a nice straight line. So it was actually pretty windy and pretty choppy. So first time out in the water.
Yeah. 100%.
He's probably covered a few extra miles there than he needed to.
Kurt's been pretty humble at the moment as his newly wed wife, or recent, has had a good performance today. So I reckon he should tell us a little bit about that as well.
Yep. So I had two athletes here today. One of them being my wife, and she had an awesome day. Pretty much first training block since we got married. We had a nice bit of time. Well, she did. I didn't. Bit of time off after the wedding. So it's been a 12-week block, pretty much from the most time she's ever had off. And the plan's just to start building in towards world champs at the end of the year. But today, I had an inkling that she'd race pretty well because she's been flying. Had me on the absolute rivet during our runs. So I knew she was in good form. And so the plan was to just come here and simulate a hard day like it will be in Taupo, especially on the bike. I just wanted to ride hard and see how she'd run off the bike. And came out of the water second, which is really good. And then pretty much sealed it in the bike.
Very good. So how does the husband-wife dynamic, coach, athlete, how do you find it?
It can be hard sometimes, but I'm quite lucky. Like we've spoken about, man, she's really good. Anything I write or tell her to do, she's 100%. So at the end of the day, it all comes back to me because everything I tell her to do, she'll do it 100%. Don't get me wrong, we can be out running sometimes and I start copping abuse or supporting her. You have testy little moments because you know what it's like when you're absolutely suffering. Yeah. You get a bit snappy.
Yeah, 100%. Better dynamic than some relationships out there.
Yeah.
So it's not
no, we do it actually quite well. It's kind of a bit separated almost. No, it's
good.
So yeah.
Well, she happens to be here, so I reckon we get into the next segment.
Yep.
There's a bunch to wrap up from today's race. We had all different categories. We had the elites, the pros, age group, and everything like that. So I think it'd be good to chat to Phoebe about her performance, and then also have a debrief about what actually happened at the Millbar 70.3.
Sounds good.
Dang. And voila.
We're back.
Ta-da.
So this is not marriage counseling. This is a race report. So we've got here Phoebe, winner of, how would you say, open category, 18 years and up. She will be humble in saying this, but Phoebe doesn't have her official pro license, but she placed 7th in the pro women today with her time, which is an insane performance because they start behind all the other people. They've got to go through everybody. Yeah. They don't have for example, when everybody knows, you have someone to chase. So she's a few minutes behind from the gun because of how they do the waves. But I may be biased, but I think someone needs to give her pro card because there's Olympians in there and she's come 7th whilst also working full time as a nurse. So I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
It isn't too bad.
She's done really well. It is the hard thing with the age group category is the rolling starts.
Yeah.
So you actually don't know where your competition is. So it's probably the biggest difference between the age group and the pro dynamic is that the age group stuff's more of a individual time trial.
Yeah.
And the pro stuff is, you're
racing.
It's a legitimate race.
Yeah.
You know where your competition is. So that can play a factor a lot of the time. Like it does play a big factor into the end results.
Yeah.
Phoebe's only had to worry about herself all day. Where, there's no surging or anything on the bike. She's just riding to her numbers and coming up with the best result she can at the end of the day, where the pros have just got to follow what's happening in front of them, which isn't always the quickest solution to get from A to B.
That makes sense.
She has done quite well.
Thank you.
How was it?
Yeah, it was a pretty good day. I think it's probably the most nervous I've been for a race.
Reasons for that?
Nothing in particular. I think more just like self-expectation. I had a really good 12-week lead-in. And I knew my swimming's probably the best it's been. The bike's the strongest. And the run is definitely coming along.
Yeah.
Just not quite where we want it yet.
So it's like a sense of, because I'm probably the fittest I've been, I want to make it count.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
it's also been a while since you've raced.
Yeah.
So
the last race was February. So
Tassie. It's surprising though that I thought you'd get nervous for this one, because it's really like not really the end goal.
No, definitely not.
Like this was just to kind of have a hit out and see where she was.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, you want to take us through your day?
Yep. Got up at, what was it, 10 to 4?
10 to 4. Ridiculous.
He loved it.
Well,
every minute of it.
Because I went to sleep at about 3:45. No, shock in bed, dude.
Oh, okay. Not the
Yeah.
CC.
Kurto was no. Well, that probably didn't help the belly, but Kurto was just meerkatting on a real sensitive sleeper.
Meerkatting.
Yeah, dude, and just wide awake, staring at the ceiling. Kurto's quite sensitive, and I hate soft beds, dude.
Really?
Yeah, like firm.
Yep.
And so I've had some shocking sleep since we've been here. So yeah, I probably nodded off about 3:45, and the alarm went off at 3:50.
Yeah.
So
that's an
early start.
Yeah.
It's a big day.
Got down to transition a little bit later than expected. So it was a rush to get in the wetsuit and get warmed up, which isn't ideal. And the coach definitely didn't appreciate that either.
No.
So it was a bit of had to flog myself to get to the front.
Yep.
And then
Of the wave start.
Yeah.
You did pretty good at that, because you're pretty decently up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's good being at the front, because then you can,
You're a good bit of
like
clear.
with the rolling starts, at least you can see, if you know you're at the front, you can sort of see where the rest of the competition is behind you, even though you've got really no idea of the time difference, but you just want to stay out front all
The biggest
day.
thing's not wading through all that traffic, man.
Yeah.
No,
You know,
exactly.
you want to get out the front, and if you're a decent swimmer, you just want clear water.
Yeah.
Not you got thousands of people in the water. There's a lot of traffic to navigate.
100%.
Yeah, but that didn't really matter today with the chop.
Yeah.
There's a lot of swell, and it was not very
It
comfortable.
looks like it. It looks like it.
It was a
I
miserable
honestly felt
morning at
bad
the
for all
start.
those
Yeah,
first timers.
yeah.
I was like, this is a terrible
Yeah,
first race to do.
It did drop off a bit as the sun came up.
Yeah.
That's wind dropped a bit, but it's still windier than everyone thought it was going to be.
So how was the wind on the bike?
It wasn't too bad until maybe the second lap.
Yeah.
The second lap, I definitely felt the headwind going out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Ryan did say that.
you're
as well.
sailing
Yeah.
on the way back in. It's
That's
so
good.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you sailed in from the bike, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And when we didn't see you personally, me and Steph didn't see you on the bike, but we saw you swim and we saw you run, and you looked unreal on the run. So give
Thank
us a little
you.
bit of a wrap with that.
I
Did
didn't
you
feel
meet your
unreal.
running? Did you meet the running expectations?
No.
Probably a little off,
Yeah.
but it was very hot.
Yeah.
And if you go and look at all the times, no one really, apart from maybe a couple outliers,
Yeah.
no one really ran well today,
Yeah.
or to their ability that of.
Yeah.
Everyone struggled a bit in that heat.
Yeah. Do you reckon it was a heat thing?
A bit of both.
Yeah.
I think the swim probably took a lot of people's energy out.
Yeah.
And then, the heat always gets everyone here, especially with that hill.
Yeah.
That's
Doing
good.
it 4 times.
Yeah, that makes sense.
but she just plodded along, and pretty early on, you saw that your pace wasn't coming, so just decided to run to her heart rate because it was pretty hot.
Yeah.
So
I knew running to heart rate, I'd get there in a reasonable time.
Yep.
Definitely not ideal, but I know that I'm going to finish the race with a good pace.
That's good. I suppose when you're that deep in there, you just scraping the barrel.
Yeah. And that's why I reckon it's, especially on the run, like not so much on the bike or the swim. Like realistically, everyone's getting in and they're just swimming hard. I don't think there's too much of a game plan on the swim.
Yeah.
The bike, you're kind of riding to your power, heart, like, well, we do anyway. A ride to power and just keep an eye on heart rate and speed.
Yeah.
But again, that it's more just your heart rate and power.
That
Speed, like today, it's windy. All of a sudden, there goes your game plan.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Because some people just go straight to speed.
Well, ultimately, like the races around 5 hours.
Yeah.
Some faster for some, obviously.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, you can, even though you're swimming and running, like you can only do what you can do for 5 hours. So there's no point.
Yeah, it's not a bike race where if they ride off, in the pro it is, but in the age group, it's not like a bike race where if the peloton go off in front, your day's over.
Yeah.
You then got the run to call back, and
yeah, it's good.
So
nice. Well, I was actually going to talk about this in my what did I see on the course, but I think this ties in nicely. So what did I see on course today? One thing I noted was I seen it in the marathons at the Olympics as well, and I think it is a relatively new thing because obviously I'm not as aware as it because of the cycling, but everybody's running around with what there looks like a flashlight on their head, but it seems to be these ice headbands.
Yeah.
So first thing is first, obviously massive believer in the cooling strategies in the heat. Obviously heat is one of the biggest detriments to performance. So massive tick for that. But I want to know, it's 30 degrees out there. They've been on the bike for 2 hours, swimming and everything like that. Like, are you guys getting these headbands, or are they getting these headbands on the side of the road, or are they light in transition?
Those headbands you're talking about are $300 and something.
Yeah, right.
I think it's like $320.
So are people leaving them in transition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're staying cold for the entire thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Honestly, I've never seen or used one.
Yeah. Did you see them on the course?
Yeah. Everyone wears them. They got pretty big through the pro field. So of course, all the athletes start wearing them.
Because I've seen Kipchoge using it at the Olympics this year.
And look, we actually did a little bit of I guess research into it.
Yeah.
Into the particular ones they're wearing, and there's actually no evidence of it actually cooling effectively.
Interesting.
Like no one had any performance benefit increase or
well, if they're not staying cold, like 100% not.
So I don't know if the science is actually behind that. And again, I've only really read one paper on it, but it's an expense. I don't think it's doing anything that a bit of ice over the head couldn't.
Well, ultimately, are they cold? Are they running?
They're meant to be cold.
Yeah. If they're like freezing cold, I could see for sure.
Yeah.
Like it would be like having water over your head. But if I'd be hard to imagine that it's staying freezing ice cold. But I might be wrong. I'm keen to know.
Yeah, so am I actually. I don't know if it's a certain material or something that's got a cooling effect as the air passes through it.
Yeah.
Or if it's actually put into a freezer.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Yeah. All right. Well, if somebody knows out there,
let us know.
We're open to know because I'm interested. Yeah. Because I'm baffled how they're staying in the sun for like 3-4 hours, and
they must be doing something though. Like if you chart, like they're $300 and something. Yeah. So there must be
something to it.
Yeah, something to it.
Well, that's what I saw.
Surely it can't just be ice cubes.
No.
Well, that's what.
They're not ice cubes.
No, I know, but it's not like you're putting them in. Like it's got to be a certain material. I think.
Yeah. Well, that's what I saw on course. Did you see anything notable on course?
I did.
Yeah.
Who are the
okay, controversial.
twins or triplets that race in your age category that are getting around in budgie smugglers for a half Ironman? It's insane. The chafe on. Oh,
yeah, the chafe.
The sunburn.
The sunburn.
They obviously spend a fair bit of time in the budgies because they're the tannest humans I've ever seen in my life. Dude.
But, oh my god,
they do look good too.
I personally didn't see.
I must say, it's a bit of Baywatch.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Shout out to them.
I feel bad. I can't remember their surname.
Russell.
The Russell triplets.
Yeah.
I'll have to look this up.
Yeah, dude. They were hooking on that run too.
What budgie
Yeah.
smugglers are they wearing? Like, because I know there's different like
I think there's a
they're
tri-club.
customised
Yeah.
for
from
the-
budgie smuggler.
I don't know.
I think they're just DTs, mate.
Yeah.
I don't think they're budgies.
Yeah.
The boys have rocked them
That's good.
since I've seen them racing.
That's cool.
So they all get around in the old school, mate. The midriff singlet
Yeah.
and the budgies.
Oh, so full old school.
Old
yeah,
school,
yeah,
dude.
nice.
It's-
I rate that.
it's-
I
yeah.
think you've got to.
Yeah,
I think
it's pretty.
That's like running the white stuff, the
Yeah.
white nicks, old
Yeah.
school white.
Yeah.
Bring out the retro DTs and crop top for the
Yeah.
truck.
You got to have the body for it. Though.
True.
And all three boys have got the body for it. You don't want Big Kurto running around in the midriff and DTs.
I don't know if he'd be.
My inner thighs also don't
Yeah.
work. So yeah,
You're wearing less at your wedding when we seen you dance on the dance floor.
yeah. Come on, hey, man. It was a secret event. You can't be talking about it in front
That's
of
good.
everybody.
Easy. Well done, Phoebe.
Thank you.
Very good.
What's up next?
Noosa try.
Nice.
What's like 8 weeks away.
Yep.
And then we'll go to Worlds in
Very good.
Taupo, which is I think another 4 weeks after that.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah.
Well,
Beautiful.
hopefully we're having the same winning story after those as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
hopefully.
there'll be
go.
some beers after that, mate.
Yeah.
That's a back to back. If you win again this year, is that a back to back?
no.
Lati, she was 10th last
Lati,
year for
Last year?
70.3. She
Yeah.
won ITU World,
Oh,
so
okay,
Olympic
sorry.
distance.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't keep up with all the accolades.
No, that's all right.
It'd be nice,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Have you got it some sort of like? Is there any commission on that, like coach commission or anything?
I
High
wouldn't mind
five.
just. I wouldn't mind just getting.
What'd you say?
High five.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's go.
I wouldn't mind just getting some sort of money for the coach and dude. Nah, she does put
True.
on some cracking meals.
Yeah.
And,
Also, just want to say those tri suits that you got, those are nice.
yeah,
They're pretty good.
yeah.
I rate the design.
That's Phoebe.
That's
That's good.
my bridesmaid.
Yeah, it's good. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
Victoria. Shout out.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, girl.
That's a, I like them.
Who's also doing the
Brewed for Greatness.
Brewed for Greatness
Logo.
logo.
Let's go.
So thank you, Victoria.
Which should be attached to this when we put this out.
Fingers crossed.
Hope so.
If we can, if you can figure it out, because I'm no good at that stuff, mate. So
That's good.
All right. Thank
Easy.
you.
thank
That's
you.
right. Thank you, Phoebe, for coming on. So while we're on the topic of the weekend of racing at the 70.3 here at Mooloolaba, we just want to have a quick dip dive into the elite, the pro
race.
results. So off because I don't have it off by heart, going to run through it for everybody.
Who you want to start with, men or women?
Go ladies first.
Ladies first.
Ladies first. So I'll Milan Agnew,
Yep.
first 70.3 win, very impressive. Sophie Malawicki,
Milwaukee.
yep, Malawicki.
Yep.
As everybody, Sophie has been around for a long time at the top, so it's nice to see her on the podium again.
And I'm pretty sure working full time these days.
Yep.
Not living that pro life. Goes about her work and training. So
Now,
super impressive.
hopefully she can do it full time again soon because
Yeah.
she's
Fingers
probably one of
crossed.
the most
Get some
talented.
funding to that girl, please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely one of the most talented girls in Australia for tries. And Carterfelt coming in third.
Yeah.
For the elite boys, Ben Hamilton, Thompson, and Sam Osborne.
The Kiwi sandwich.
Nice.
So first and third, the Kiwis and Nick Thompson.
That's good. So
and the first two, real busy start of the year too, man. These
Yeah.
boys have raced a lot, but Ben just looked,
unreal.
phenomenal on that run.
I was going to talk to you about this. So I remember Ben. So I didn't realize that he actually had switched over to triathlons until this year. So I remember I would have been like 16 or 17 doing like my first NRS races back in the day.
Yep.
And Skoda used to be this New Zealand team that did the NRS stuff. They used to travel from New Zealand to Australia. And I remember him racing back then in cycling, and he was a hammer on the bike. Like,
Yep.
and I'm quite confident that he went to Junior Worlds, on 23 Worlds for cycling for
Yeah,
New
right.
Zealand, and he raced for a Spanish European team on the
Yep.
bike. So I was actually always very impressed with him as a cyclist. So for him to switch from cycling to triathlons so well and be cleaning up is a great transition.
Yeah, and it's his bike run combo. As
Yeah.
you saw today, he ran for the win.
Yeah.
Awesome runner.
Yeah.
And he just looks so good running
Yeah.
too. Looks effortless, but
That's good.
he's an absolute weapon. Dude.
Yeah, I think a part of that, like, you guys probably know better, but the coming off that cycling background and being so strong on the bike, even though he's like, you would be like, oh, cyclists are better, obviously going to be better races at the cycling than the triathletes, but might not necessarily even be that. Like he could have had a pacing, because I don't think he did have the fastest bike.
No.
Might be wrong as well. We need to fact check. But the ability to do the bike hurt less, and then have some left in the tank for the run. Like I think that's the difference. Like he'd be so efficient, so used to it, all the years of in TT position and having like a different exposure to racing on the bike. And just having that ability to be able to hop off fresher than everybody else who maybe it doesn't come as naturally to, and they're just absolutely hammered by the time they get to the run.
Yeah, I think the big thing I found with coming from cycling, their top end's so much higher.
Yeah, the cyclists,
which is really hard. To get if you're taking.
I think it's from the running.
You know, like
it's hard to get triathlons from the running or training
styles. Yeah, no, you're probably right. You know, the running takes a lot of that explosiveness out of the legs, where coming from that cycling background, you know, he's probably every day of the week be able to hit 1,200 watts. You know, it's just in his legs now. And so I just think it, you know, then if your ceiling's so high, it's just easier to, you know, bring everything up with it. So
that's good.
But from the way the race played out today, there was actually quite a big front group in the swim.
I was surprised with that.
So was I, actually. So a big group went out on that bike, and it looked like, you know, there was a front group that got away after that second lap, and there was guys a lot of the guys didn't finish after that. So there was obviously a few boys. There was
a lot of not many finishes.
Yeah,
a lot of starters.
Yeah, and after the bike, man, there was a lot of guys that just didn't run. So I can only assume that there was a few fellas putting in some big work on the front that just blew that race to pieces. Yeah. And I'd only assume it's going to be someone like your Ben Hamilton, and Nick Thompson's renowned for it too. You know, he races hard. Yeah, so that's cool. I'm sure they would have been putting some work in the front.
One of my podium picks was Nick Free.
Yep.
He's performed really well, obviously, over the distance, but he was letting me know he had a bit of a hip niggle.
Yeah, right.
So it would have been good to see, I think, how he stacked up. I think he's pretty good at running 320s off the bike.
Yeah, no.
331s for the run off the bike for the winner.
Yeah.
Quote from Nick Free said, "You just got to run 320s off the bike and you'll win."
Yeah.
A few years back, I remember him saying. So I would have been keen to see how he went.
Yeah, when he's running, when he's on.
Yeah.
There's not many locally in Australia that are going to outrun him.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's done some really, really impressive runs.
Yeah, it's good.
So obviously that hip's just giving him a bit of grief at the moment.
I think he's taken it off season, and he said he's got like 15 weeks or something till his next one. So plenty of time. Nice. But that's running for you. Brutal.
Oh, brutal. Yeah. Mention to the girls too. So first and second, they ran side by side for about 18.5K.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, you know, just before the hill, it looked like Milan just put a little bit into Sophie, and then, you know, 20 seconds. But that was probably my highlight of the race.
Yeah, it's good.
Is seeing those two girls, old training partners.
Yep.
Friends.
Milan has done well to do, like, no discredit to Milan, awesome athlete, but like Sophie is, I remember, like, you would always have triathletes, and you know how they go, and they're like, oh, I'm going to do some swimming states, I'm going to do some cycling states, going to go to running, like, you know what I mean? They just like do a bit of dabbling. She was always one of like the best female runners, even coming from triathlons, which was impressive.
Yeah.
So for Milan to, I would probably say like running is one of Sophie's obviously strongest legs.
Sophie's pretty well rounded. Yeah, all three really good triathletes.
So Milan has done very well to top that. So well done to both of them.
I think just in recent times made a coaching switch.
Yeah,
she's now with pretty sure it's Hayden Wild's coach, Kirkwood. Since she's decided to switch to long course, because she was obviously
doing the sprint stuff,
doing the short course stuff, which is just so cutthroat.
Yeah,
you know, and when it comes down to selection and discretion,
you
know, I think a lot of them get a bit sick of that. And so from my understanding, the long course and middle course is more on merit.
Yeah,
your actual performances.
Yeah, it's good.
And since changing, she's, you know, I'm pretty sure she just won challenge race not too long ago, and now it's just won her first 70.3, and
solid,
qualified for Worlds next year in Spain. So she's really on that.
That's good to see.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on the topic of triathlons, so like we said at the start of the podcast, this isn't a triathlon podcast, isn't a cycling podcast. We're hitting everything, and I think that's a good way just the whole thing, Brewed For Greatness, all great athletes, there's even great people, stories, and just diving into
business people, anyone that's just is really excelling in what they've done. They're getting to the pinnacle.
Yeah, it's good. So today's topic, obviously, triathlons. So while we're on it, I wanted to have a chat to you about the Blummenfelt and potentially switching to cycling. So nothing's come out of it being a done deal, but rumor has it it's happening.
JK.
But I'm not gonna lie, I've been getting pretty triggered with the comment section.
Oh,
right.
You read the comments.
Well, no, Well, for this type of stuff, I do But I just feel like for such a great athlete, and for like one of the best athletes literally in the world, aerobically gifted. So I think people just need to take it a little bit easier on him when he wants to have a switch.
It's like a footy player switching coach.
Yeah.
He's like, really, what else can he do in triathlon?
Exactly. Like, he's won everything. Won the Olympics.
And he's obviously very driven by challenges.
Yeah.
And
why not?
Yeah.
So I'm very, very keen to see him make the switch. Personally, I think he can actually make a very big impact.
Yep.
Because you're not that good of an athlete just out of nowhere.
Yep.
So I think, obviously, triathlons to cycling, I have done the transition myself. It does take time. Do I think he's going to win the Tour de France? Like, I don't know if that was quoted from his mouth, but from the articles, it has come out like that's the goal.
Yeah.
Will he do that? Potentially, potentially not. Most likely not in the next foreseeable years. Obviously, like Pog and Vingard are on another level. And
well, look, the articles,
people have done crazier things.
Whether he, this is his train of thought or not, the articles are stating that he's possibly looking at being a GC rider. Do I think he can go to the world tour, make an impact, be a great teammate, and impact a race? Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Do I think he can compete competitively GC? Probably not.
Yeah. Straight away.
Oh, definitely not straight
away.
away.
Yeah.
And, the elephant in the room, I'm sure he's got the power there, but, the GC riders is 20 kilos lighter, pushing the same power.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he's probably built for a GC rider.
Yeah. But would you say, right, like, obviously now, like, swimming, like, even when I went from triathlons to swimming, like, you're just naturally holding so much more weight in the shoulders and
upper
everything.
Body.
Like, how fast do you reckon it'll take for him to lose that? Like, just like from swimming, because surely that's a lot of weight here. Like, not weight as in like if fat, like muscle out your shoulders and everything. Like, that's a lot of weight.
He's a unit, man. But I reckon most of his size is just through his lung capacity. Like, he's got a racehorse set of lungs. Like, if you look at his arms and whatnot, they're not actually that big.
Yeah.
A lot of his volume comes through his chest, midline, and legs.
Yeah.
So, which I think is probably going to transfer into cycling
100%.
really well.
At the end of the day, he could well and truly be, that's his goal. Like, that's what he wants to do on the bike. But then also I can see the other things, like people pay money for a storyline. Teams pay money for a story. Like, even if people are talking crap about him online, 100% like about him, like, oh, he's never going to be able to be a cyclist. 100% they're going to be watching him. They're going to be watching the team. They're going to be watching what he's doing. So that's a win. And if he pulls it off, it's a win as well. So
it brings in smart. A whole different, sport and demographic. Now all triathletes that are just huge fans of him and now are now watching cycling.
Yeah, it's good. It's smart play.
Yeah, no, and it's going to come. It's coming from a challenge. He wants to challenge himself. He looks like he just loves pushing himself and seeing what he can actually do. And you're not Olympic champion, you're not world champion, for no reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in a sport it's not luck.
Yeah.
There's no luck. There's there's talent, but if you're not putting in the work and you're not going to have success. So I have no doubt that he can find his way into the pro peloton and contribute in some way.
What are you saying? Like, I've seen a lot of people saying there's no way he's like going to have the racecraft and like be able to maneuver the bunch and everything. I just don't believe that personally, because like the bike even though it's triathletes, sprint distance racing, yes, it's not pro cycling. They're pretty technical courses. There's a lot of fight for position.
Yeah.
Like
I think
he's not going to be a lead out man. He's not going to be leading out the sprint. So that's obviously off the line. Like, obviously he's not going to be able to do that straight away.
You're not going to navigating through a sprint
that's
finish.
He's not going to be navigating for Ewan.
I think it's probably I actually think it might be the part he struggles with the most.
Yeah, for sure.
Because coming from, like, I started cycling late and just your local stuff.
Yeah.
You know, let's say I go riding with you boys in the under 23s and I guess semi-professionals or professional hopefuls. There's a big difference between how I handle a bike and how you boys handle a bike, or girls even, you know, like, especially descending as well. Yeah. You know, how many times we've been goat tracked down Nebo, dude, and we've been riding together all day. We start descending and Kurto's out the back, you know, just scared, touching the brakes. And
that's a rugby boy for you.
Yeah. But that'll just take time.
Yeah.
You know, that'll just take time, and it's something you can train.
100%.
And he's going to have guys there to show him.
I rate it.
Yeah.
So all those people giving hate to Christian Blummenfelt, I reckon just cut him some slack a little bit. And if he makes a switch, let's see what happens. Like,
let's put it this way: he's not going to be.
He doesn't need to win.
He's not going to be the worst guy in the world, too.
No, he definitely
not by a mile, dude.
I know. There's a few questionables.
Like absolute weapon.
Yeah.
So
I hope he does it. I think it'd be good for cycling.
Yeah.
Good for triathlons.
Yeah. Good storyline.
It's been done before.
Let's just see.
Yeah.
It usually happens the other way around, though, right? People coming from cycling to triathlon.
Yeah. More. I'm probably thinking, like, not factual backup, but I would.
And let's put this out there: nothing on this show will be factual. So, take everything with a grain of salt. Yeah, that's right.
But if I had to guess, I'd say so. Like, for example, you start off as a young cyclist, do your career. At the end of it, I think triathlons at a professional level, I think you got a bit longer in you.
Yep.
Just because, like, triathlons, you don't need to risk your life to die in a lead out. You don't need to risk your life to die on a, you know what I mean? Like, you can do it when you've still lost a little bit of that edge, I think.
You're talking also, like you've got experience in this. No. Have you come off your bike a bit?
A few times, yeah. Right. But for like, you lose your speed, so like you can convert to triathlons and still be actually really competitive, as we've seen.
Do you reckon it's less of a head crack too, triathlon, because you got 3 different sports? You've done both. Granted, you were young doing triathlon.
I was head crack because I think I was too young doing too much.
Yeah.
And I think the swimming was what cracked me.
Yeah.
I think even though swimming was my best leg.
Yeah.
It's just something about, like, staring at the black line it's not for me.
So my background was swimming.
Yeah.
So swam quite competitively at a national level all the way until I finished school.
Yeah.
And I was at school for swimming, so I had no option.
Yeah.
Right. I had to swim. Yeah. And there might not be a sport that cracks you more than swimming, but especially like cold winter mornings, dude. Yeah. Just no. I don't like. I'm literally just up and down.
Yeah.
You know that there's nothing scenic about it.
Yeah. Not to be dull.
No,
but to be a trial, you got to be special type of unit. But then also like then I'm like, cycling training is can be so it's brutal. Like, and like the split sections and triathlons is brutal, hard, and everything like that.
They're both hard sports. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it's just different. The difference, is triathlons. I feel like I'm injured. I feel I'm always sore.
Yep.
Like, just that running is brutal.
But
cycling, you just cooked. Like, you just actually cooked.
Yeah.
Like, you don't feel like you're injured.
No, you just
got nothing.
Yeah, empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like that's it. So whatever you like better.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, both hard.
But
take up rugby.
We're chatting about this. I'm curious to know in the comment section. I personally think that, should I even talk about this? I personally think that I'd have a better chance playing AFL. I'm low 60 kilos. I don't think I'd be good, but I think I would last longer in an AFL game than an NRL game. Like, if I did an NRL game, I would be very hurt.
I honestly don't think they'd let you take the field, mate. Because you'd be going out in a body bag. There's no doubt about that.
I agree, but if I was to play AFL, I think maybe you get an ankle tap, you're gonna get speckied, which is not good. Like, you know what I mean? But
you might have a chance of lasting a little longer.
That's what I mean.
Because
I think
you can't. You're not. You can't really hide on the NRL field. They're going to pass you the ball. You're going to have about 200 kilos.
I will be like Reece Walsh.
Either way, though,
you
mate.
You didn't get my joke then.
Yeah. Oh, come on, dude.
Sorry.
Come on. None of that. I'm a Broncos fan, mate.
You guys had a good game.
Oh, dude, come on. Don't upset me. No, we'll come good next year, boys. Next year.
Yep.
Just a bit of
shout out, Dad, Broncos supporter.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's been a tough year.
Yeah.
But we'll come around.
I love the Broncos.
Yeah.
Darren Lockyer through and through.
Yeah, bro.
Let's go.
And the Dolphins are coming. Everyone's jumped on the Dolphins bandwagon because they're.
Can't wait for Tommy Gilbert to get back.
Mate. I'm not about the Dolphins, eh? I'm
Really?
Broncos through and through, mate. Yep.
That's right.
I'm a one-team soldier.
As you should be.
Yeah.
So while we're on triathlon topic again, one thing I wanted to quickly brush up on was favorite era of triathlons that you can remember that you thrive watching. It's like the Pog versus Jonas era. Like you were just like, who's going to win? What can you think of is your favorite time watching triathlons?
My favorite would be, my old man was actually pretty heavy into the triathlon scene, the ITU stuff as an age grouper, quite competitive. And so we grew up, that Brad Bevan era, mate, the 90s and early 2000s, I didn't even watch anyone else. I didn't even know who else was racing.
Yeah.
It was just all about Brad Bevan. So yeah, mine would have to be
That's good.
Brad Bevan growing up. It's the only name I knew.
I think I was just too young, hey.
Yeah.
I was just too young.
Well, I think he went on his spree mid 90s to maybe early 2000s.
Yep.
So yeah. Were you even born then?
2000.
Yeah, dude, you missed it.
Well, no, that's good.
What's your era?
My
like right now.
Personal favorite.
Yeah.
I reckon I may be wrong, maybe not wrong, but I reckon the best era for triathlons was like the Brownlees.
Yeah.
Brownlees battling Gomez, Mola, Murray.
Yeah, it was
always
safe bet,
Varga leading out the swim every time.
Yep.
Schooman.
Yep.
And
it's crazy. There's still a few of those boys getting around too.
It's good to see.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Yep.
So I reckon, I just remember as a young kid when I started doing triathlons, my favorite to watch was Gomez. Like there was I love that guy. Yep. He was just a hammer.
And they still talk pretty predominantly about him, that if he same as Brownlee, that if on his day, if he stays injury free and he comes in healthy, they're one of the guys they're talking about still.
But that's what I mean. The whole point of this whole show, right, is to talk about this, because I swear, like nobody that I like in my small bubble, like it's all about like the now and the future and everything, and like it's pretty rare that you're hearing about like Gomez, for example. Like maybe it's because he's Spanish and he's not an Australian.
Yeah.
But like it's not that long ago, and he like those guys were, like best triathletes of all time. Like it was insane. That's like I think it was Johnny Brownlee versus Gomez on that World Champs final when they were sprinting the last 2K. Like iconic stuff. Yeah,
and I think a lot of that is those guys stayed in ITU for a long, long time.
Yeah, and
say someone like Jan, made the convert to long course, and I reckon that's where a lot of Jan's popularity came from.
Yeah,
basic
when he switched over.
Yeah, and then he dominated long course as well, and I reckon that's probably skyrocketed Jan and I guess his stature in the triathlon community probably more than his ITU did.
Yeah.
I feel, and maybe I don't know, but maybe the ITU seems to be a little more popular.
Yeah.
The long course seems to be a little more popular.
Yeah.
But then again, like the Olympics just gone.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty exciting at the moment too. You had Hayden Wild and Alex Shee.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting for ITU at the moment too.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. We won't name names, but we have a very exciting guest next week.
Yeah.
So from
who would have thought this place would have got some of the guests we've got coming up?
I know,
I still can't believe it.
Yeah.
We're hopefully he turns up. Though.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't.
He'll know if he doesn't turn up.
Yeah.
So we've flicked him some coin. What? So no, I'm pretty.
Did you pay him?
No, I didn't.
Nah, same.
No,
he's just a good bloke, obviously.
Cost of living, mate.
Yeah, must have got him at a vulnerable time. He agreed to come on.
I know.
He might see this show and go, "Oh, actually, guys, I can't make that work." Hey. So yeah, we'll see.
So that's good. Well, final segment. Hang on, where are we at? Final segment. what grinded your gears this week?
Oh,
So do you
gear grinder.
Because you've heard mine, so I haven't heard yours. So I reckon we save yours for last because
Okay.
I'm keen to laugh.
Yep.
So my first gear grinder, I competed in the semi-final for Zwift Worlds. Oh no, Esport Worlds yesterday.
Yep.
With the Australian team.
Yep.
Always a privilege. So 3 a.m. wake up.
Oh, dude.
3 a.m. wake up.
Which for you,
Not good.
you know, the bloke doesn't get out before 9.
No, doesn't.
Nah.
3 a.m. wake up. Got to submit my a confirmation of my weight,
Yep.
hardware, serial numbers.
How'd you confirm the weight? Did you go?
No, you got to hold on to like say 10 kilos, put it on the scales. It says 10. Step off.
Yep.
Then step back on, and then like show under it and stuff.
Yep.
Do that. Submit it to YouTube, unlisted. Then submit a Google document form. Then you're good to go. Then I had to wait up for another hour. 4:30 race start. There was 2 races. First race, virtual race. I'm lined up. Click in just before the race. I'm at the back. So that's a thing.
What do you mean? Yeah,
I'm at the back of the bunch.
Is it a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing.
What first?
You got a line? Yes.
I thought everyone was just the start.
No. So I've gone from like 100th, and I got 25th on that first one.
Yep.
And 24 get to go to the grand final worlds.
Oh.
Right. But there's 2 races, so it's on points. I'm like, all right, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Yep.
Like and Denmark, they were stringing it out from the start, and
Yeah.
your boy was breathing.
Oh,
Right.
the Denmark, the big
Yeah,
boys on
yeah,
the ergo, mate.
Yeah, I
They
know.
would have been burning bearings.
And they got AFL Elliot trying to freaking.
Yeah.
Anyways, so second race, get a 10-15 minute break. Sitting there 3, 2, 1. I'm like, all right, I reckon I'm on for a good one here, hypothetically. Maybe not.
Yep.
I start sprinting, but my character doesn't feel like sprinting.
Had enough.
So game crashed.
You're kidding.
Game crashed. 3 a.m. wake up for no reason. So
what happens?
that's it, mate.
All over.
They can't stop everybody.
Yeah.
So
right.
that was
Is that a Bluetooth thing or what's the?
I don't know. I was having troubles with it.
Yeah,
the week
I know.
before.
You call me during it, and
Yeah.
you're looking for trainers, and
I know. That's not like yeah.
it seems like a very difficult
it's
process.
they're doing the right. Like you got to stop cheaters.
Yeah,
for
100%.
starters.
But it just seems like
The-
difficult, especially
like
if you're not someone that
logistics?
lives.
Yeah, 100%.
Lives on Zwift too.
Yeah.
Like you were like, oh man, I've got to do all this stuff.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think it was like that,
No,
but
you probably
cool
could have read.
opportunity.
Could you have maybe read a bit of was an email sent to you or something telling you what to do?
Maybe in my junk.
Yeah, I bet you've missed that one.
So that was a privilege, bit
Yeah.
of fun. Gear grinder was game dropping out
Yeah.
at 4 a.m. after I thought I was on for one.
Yep.
But
The Denmark boys all
yeah,
they got lucky. you
they
reckon?
are very lucky.
Yeah, right.
That was mine. So what's your gear grinder for the week?
Yeah, so mine was actually today.
Oh.
During the race, obviously supporting, and during the run portion, right? And it's a busy race.
Lots of people.
Lots of people, and as you're coming back from the furthest point, you're coming back up and over the hill.
Yep.
And they've got the athletes running on the footpath, and people continue to just walk 2, 3 abreast up and down the footpath.
Where
While
the race is going.
While race are going.
Yep.
You've got pros running up, absolutely blowing. Have just emptied themselves
Yep.
for nearly 4 hours.
Yep.
And Joe Blow and his missus are walking 2 abreast down the footpath, not even looking. They're having to stop and run around them. And it's just how oblivious they are.
Yeah.
Like, have a look, mate.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Do you reckon you're being a bit of a Karen here?
oh, 100%. I'm a Karen over a lot of things.
I'm joking. No, you're right.
Every race, it
Yeah.
annoys. Like,
Yeah.
believe it or not, and they're not. Majority of them,
Yeah.
I don't think are actually part of the triathlon community.
Yeah, no, they're not. They
They-
can't be.
no.
Because
And
there's no way it would be like that otherwise.
But it was quite obvious that there was an event happening today,
Yeah.
and you
What were
probably
the giveaways?
probably the people and the bikes and the police and the staff, the athletes
Yeah.
running.
No, you're right about this one.
So I'll be honest. There was a few people that got a
Yeah.
polite. Could you please move?
Yeah.
Well, and they did.
That's good. It's doing the
So-
officials' work. Good job.
I know they probably need to have some officials on.
Path duty.
Yeah, just telling people, people are just looking at their phone, not even just walking, and let's be honest, you're at Mooloolaba, it's a lot of people coming here obviously to go to the beach. And when they're shutting roads and that down, there's, people need to get to wherever they're going. But man,
so moral of the story, mid-race,
just
get off the course.
Have a look. Just have a look, get out of their way. Don't just expect them to move. Yeah. Please. Yeah. Just
they've just done a half marathon.
Yeah. And they're running up a hill.
Yeah. No.
Have a look.
That would grind my gears if I was the athlete. That is for sure. And I think it would grind anyone's gears. 1.9k swim, 90k bike. You've just done a 21k run, and you're gone. Oh mate, and you're blocked.
Yeah, they're walking down a footpath with, the missus and 4 kids carrying beach towels and whatnot, and it's not probably their fault either. Like we should really.
That's not what it sounds like.
They should probably have some volunteers making sure, 100%. But it's a big race, so the volunteers have got to be everywhere. So, but it just infuriates me.
It's fair.
So,
I'm on board. I support that.
Yeah. Anyway.
So conclusion. We'll see how we go with how regular these are. Yeah. I think we're going to aim for once a fortnight.
Well, obviously Elliot's living in Melbourne. Yeah. I'm in Brisbane.
So I reckon we're going to aim for every time Melbourne, Brisbane, vice versa. Yeah. Live ep. Otherwise, otherwise we're going to be doing on the line. We got a nice setup for that. Yeah. We're going to be having guests. Whole purpose of this. Yeah. Obviously.
And like I said before, can't believe it. We've got some pretty good names. Yep. So I'm keen to hear their story, what they're up to, and
100%.
How they go about their business.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll probably really dive into some of the training and whatnot as well, because we're obviously
coaches
both, and passionate about it. It's a hobby of mine, so
it's good.
I'd really,
and I think
even to talking to them,
even I reckon just as frequent having a boys up, just chatting about how Kurt's training going, how his coaching's going, how life is going, and vice versa. How's racing, training? Yeah. Next year, racing.
When you're coming back to Brisbane and leaving Victorians, but that miserable place of Victoria, where we're trying. She's coming around slowly.
Just need the boss to sign off.
Yeah. Yep. So.
No, it's good. So.
How do we sign off? What do you want to? How do you want to do this?
Are we allowed to get music, or is that like a?
Nah, apparently.
Do we get copyright?
Yeah, apparently you can't use music. So, this is a thing. Like, there's a licensing thing to it, and let's be honest,
we need to look into it.
When this isn't just raking in money, so
mate, come on.
There's a good chance Elliot will put a little little song or a little beat together.
You're pretty good on the old ChatGPT. We'll get some AI, something happening.
Mate, you don't want me touching any musical instrument.
Just also before we sign off, just like what happened this week when you were trying to make some notes, something about your account was like you
ChatGPT. I exceeded the free version limit. So I've got to wait until next month until I can use it. And you can bet I'm not paying for premium.
Yep.
So there's so many of them now, though. I'll just have to start an account with someone else. Mate, can you imagine that when you were at school?
I know. We missed it, the boat.
Oh, dude. I didn't have a phone until I was year 12.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. And I had to get people to write my assignments for me.
Were you the big bad wolf?
Hey?
Were you the big bad wolf? You were pretty chill.
Nah, I was pretty chill. I was just tired all the time, dude. Yeah. I was just sleeping.
Oh, because you're swimming.
I was nodding. Yeah. I was on the nod.
Double days every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And we had a pretty good leeway during swimming season. So the first term.
So we're not signing off yet, by the way. Clearly.
Oh, no, we're just talking. The first term, it kind of goes in, the season of your sport. So back when I was there, you'd get a bit of leniency. Yeah. So start off with the swimming. GPS swimming's huge. So and all the swimmers, if you're on the team, they knew you were training hard. And at the peak of GPS season, you're doing 14 sessions a week.
Yep.
You're swimming morning and night. You're racing because you're doing your club stuff, your school stuff, and you'd literally just go to class, head on the desk.
Yep.
No worries. And it's probably bad because I definitely should have been doing schoolwork, but mind you,
you own a podcast now.
Oh, look at me now, miss. Look at me now. But
no, it's good.
After season was done.
Yep.
That's it, mate.
Did you play footy for Nudgee as well?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, up and Nudge.
Up the nudge.
We
Nudgy
wa-
boys.
We want the nudge.
Yeah. So I did, but only when swimming season was done because
Yeah.
I couldn't get hurt.
Yeah.
I was only a little boy, so
That's good.
yeah.
Sweet as.
Pretty cool. All right.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Brewed for Greatness.
And
Remember it?
The next episode's probably going to be a lot more exciting because the guest is a pretty big one.
Yep. An Olympian.
Olympian.
Yep.
We won't give any more else.
Yeah, that's it.
Any more away.
So hopefully this goes out
Oh,
before he
you've
comes
said
on.
you've already given it away.
It's 20. I can't say that.
You're no good at this. Anyway, tune in next week.
Yep.
Next week, we'll see.
Yeah.
We're talking to him next week.
Yep.
So I guess we'll see you then.
Dunsky.
Cheerio.